Well, our first inductee was a 6-time All-Australian and 6-time club best and fairest. As a captain, he led the Fremantle Football Club to their first ever grand final. A champion player and a champion bloke, he is a Fremantle icon.
When I was at the Swans as an assistant coach, Sydney played Fremantle in the 2006 preliminary final. The Swans sort of had control, but he was kicking multiple goals, so he was the real threat in the game, and I hadn't really known him significantly before then. I was probably a bit naive. He's out of the West, and I was like, oh my God, like this, he's dragging them across the line here. He kept them in the game. Like, it was scary. It was scary. I thought, geez, pretty special. I didn't realise how good he was.
Pitch by Pavlich. That is the one they needed.
Geez, he's a complete player, Matthew Pavlich rules, isn't he? He's just got the ability to take contested marks. Not many centre forwards can do that around a stoppage as well.
Matthew was brave, exquisite, multiple positions, and could kick clutch goals. There's not too many better than Matthew. He could walk down the race with anyone and be comfortable. He's a truly great player.
To Pavlich, sold the dummy. Pavlich screws it around the corner.
Pavlich has got it from 50, brings it back across his body. It's tracking goal. It's through.
Thought about Walters, sold the foot candy. Right foot, straight, punt right end. You are a superstar.
He's one of the all-time greats. People want to compare him to Rewald, and Rewald was a big work rate and a taller man. Pav was an incredible ground level player. Match him in the air, beat you at ground level. Match him at ground level, he beat you at strength. He's like a 100-kilo man, like incredibly powerful. If we needed a match winner, put him in the middle and just come forward almost like a Dustin Martin.
Pavlich from 50, long, strong, clears the pack, goal!
I saw Carey at his best, his ability to dominate games, and that's what I saw Pav do. It's not just because it's his award night. There's just some moments. Our first final at the MCG, again, where the club hadn't won. We played Geelong in the final. No one was tipping us, and we just blew them out the water early, and just some incredible goals.
Off one step, and Pav goes bang!
Down at Geelong in that final in 2013, Geelong jumped us. I think they were 4 up, and we needed a goal, and he came into the goal square, picked it up off the ground, swerved both ways. As he's falling away, snapped a goal, and that sort of got us going. They're really vivid in my mind.
Tough one, well done, Pavlich. Taylor was in the box seat there, and still he goes, the skipper. The right boot beckons. He swings it around. That is a captain's goal.
He did a lot of great things often, but those two finals, and I suppose we measure people by how they play in finals, and when everything was going against us, he stood up. And my belief, and not everyone agrees, but what your leaders are at a club, your squad will be, as a rule. I would go to him if I was undecided, and because I really respected his opinion, because he understood the dynamic of the group and what was important. So he was very considered, very loyal, and would make a hard call. Great player, even better person. 2012, playing Gold Coast, 21 points down at half-time. I thought, we're under pressure here. First year at the Dockers, and I sort of went Pav at half-time. He did look immaculate, so I was like, nothing on him, not a speck, not a beat. And I was like, and you, Pav, you're a leader, have a look, you got to get going, So he responded, and, we won the game, and again, he kick-started the team. And then Bondi, we laughed at, he goes, you might want to get to the skipper, you're giving him a get going at half-time, but he had a shower and changed his full kit. But that's a measure of the man. There was no flash. It was yes, coach, and away we go. So, we had a laugh about it afterwards. I couldn't think of a more worthy recipient. You measure it by performance, the ability to play in finals, longevity, skill, character, toughness. The measure of the man off-field, the person he is. Everyone leaves footprints, some deeper than others, and his are really, really deep, aren't they? And it's just great that he'll sit alongside the greats of the game. He deserves this.
On Purple Hearts, Matthew Pavlich joins the Australian Football Hall of Fame. Matthew, congratulations.
Thank you, Jared. Cheers.
I think it's a special moment for the chairman as much as it is for the player.
It is, yeah. When Richard called, so for people that don't know, my wife Lauren, who's in the room tonight with her family, Lauren used to babysit the Goiters, the kids, because they used to live next door to each other in Floreat in Perth. So it's a very nice moment. When Richard called, and it was a missed call, I was like, oh, this is interesting, what's this about? Called him back and he sort of said, oh, look, I need to speak to you about something important. I was like, oh, geez, what's this going to be about? And it was a nice moment that we shared. So, yeah, it's a privilege to be here.
It's a story that has its origins in South Australia. Was your childhood immersed in SANFL footy?
Certainly was, yeah. West Torrens, the Eagles. So I grew up supporting blue and gold, which when I first got to Perth, I quickly learned that wasn't the right thing to do as a Fremantle player, to take off the blue and gold, not be an Eagles supporter anymore and be a Fremantle supporter. But yeah, the West Torrens Eagles is where I've got the most vivid childhood memories. Dad played there along with his two brothers, Mark and Greg. I remember, so Dad coached the reserves and assistant coached the league team. I remember running around, you know, the tables of the West Torrens club rooms at Thepperton Oval. I remember, you know, being there, the smells and the sounds of change rooms, and then that went on as Dad continued to coach as the Eagles merged to Woodville West Torrens. So great memories, great family memories. You know, I saw Brian Cunningham in the room tonight, who's obviously Dad's first cousin, famous Port Adelaide man. Peter Cousins, Dad's other cousin, played for West Torrens. So we've got a rich history of SANFL, and I loved growing up there and sensing those moments.
The draft takes you further west, so it finishes as a Hall of Fame story, but it didn't start that way. It was a rocky beginning.
Certainly was. Well, firstly, Mum didn't want me drafted there. That was pretty self-evident. And yeah, my very first training session. So, arrived to Perth on one of those, people from the West will know, as one of those very warm and humid sort of December mornings where the temp gets to, I don't know, it's sort of 35 or feels like 40 before about 9 a.m, and then the sea breeze finally comes in and cools everything down. But it was my first training session, and we had about 90 minutes of ball work. And you know, for anyone that's gone to their first day of the job and think about, you know, this is the dream job that I ever want to do. So I had this attitude of running through to the cone 100 miles an hour, attacking every ball, every one-on-one contest I had, just with so much vigour to prove myself day one. And did that at the end of the 90 minutes of ball work. And then the running coach, Jimmy Bridle, came over and brought everyone in and said, OK, boys, we've now got 6 1K time trials. Now, you know, later in your career, you can handle that fine. But as a 17-year-old coming off school this week in Victor Harbour, I was a little underdone.
Where'd you finish up?
Well, we got around the first 4 pretty well. I was hanging on to my group, and the 5th one I started to drop off the back, crossed the line, had a big vomit, was seeing stars, and the running coach came over, and as I was wiping the contents away from my mouth, Jared, the coach said, oh, do you think you can do one more? And I just didn't want to show any chink in the armour. I was like, yep, I'm fine. Show me the start line. Up we went again. And we got around 2/3 the way of this first lap, and I just had this overwhelming feeling as if I was running closer and closer to the ground. Teammates who now relive the tale say it was like I was going down an escalator very slowly. Passed out, and the next thing I remember is waking up in Murdoch Hospital with all sorts of monitoring devices all over my body. I'd pushed myself too hard, but it was very embarrassing as a 17-year-old, and I'm not sure Mum and Dad were that happy about it, but I think there was other things that I proved that day one, which I didn't recognise at the time, but maybe made a statement in some ways.
In your pomp, it's 6 All-Australians in 7 years, and rather famously in seemingly every position. When your footy was at its best, what was the core of your game? What was your raw ambition?
I think variety helped. You know, Ross talked about it a little bit up there, is that I had the ability to sort of play tall and small. You know, I thank sort of Dad and my upbringing of playing in the midfield, playing in defence and playing forward. And so if things weren't working somewhere, I could go and make it work somewhere else. If I was playing on a taller player or a bigger player, then I'd take them up around the ball and try to lose them that way. And that also helped our team. Maybe in some ways we were filling gaps for a little while until our team became a bit more established. But yeah, I really enjoyed playing in defence. I really enjoyed playing up forward, and And the challenge physically of going into the midfield was always a treat as well.
Did it develop to the ambition of being the best power forward in the competition?
Definitely, yeah. When I settled back at centre half forward in that sort of mid-2000s, 2005 period, it was, I want to be as good as I can be, and I want to prove to the competition that I can be the best power forward, along with lots of other people in the room tonight. I wanted to, show my wares in a powerful manner and try to kick long goals, kick crafty goals, and help set up my teammates as well.
When you look back now, what are the days that come to mind? Finals won, a grand final lost, the final day, which is full of sentiment. What grabs you?
First game's always a great memory. Running alongside Tony Modra and sitting in the pocket alongside him here. I was a big Crows fan growing up. I got to stand in the same goal scorer as Tony Modra. That was a big thrill as a young 18-year-old. And then, that run of 13, the elimination final, beating Geelong at the MCG where no one thought we could get it done. Being sent down to Cardinia Park in 2013, thanks guys, and got that one done down there. That was a great moment. And then winning the prelim 2 weeks later, that was a special ride.
It's a night where sometimes we ponder how far footy can take you. It's a bit literal in your case. What is it, 855,211 kilometres? Titus spoke about space. You could have gone to the moon and back twice, I'm told.
Yeah, thank God for frequent flyer points. Look, it's a brutal toll on the body, and that's why the guys like David Mundy and so who keep doing it is quite remarkable. But look, it takes a fair bit of luck. Injury-wise, it takes lots of discipline, lots of dedication, and lots of help. I've got so much. I'm indebted to so many people that have helped me along the way, both family and friends who are in the room tonight, but staff and support people at our football club. Just incredible lengths they went to help me get out there every week and do the thing that I love doing.
And immense individual skill and determination, I'm sure. Matthew, you might have a few thank yous you'd like to say.
Thanks, Jared. Look, I guess firstly to the people on table 30, my loved ones, my family, mum and dad are here tonight. Incredible support and just loyalty and great support along the way to get me through to, I guess, getting drafted, and then beyond that's been, quite remarkable. Lauren's family in the room tonight. My sister Jess is here with her partner Ben. Tim and Megan have made the trip over. Thank you very much, Richard and Therese. If I think about my early days, Sacred Heart College in South Australia, where I played my junior football largely, and all the great friends and great mates that I still have to this day, incredible part of my journey and still remain that way. The Woodville West Torrens Football Club, where I remember going down and as a 13-year-old actually training with the senior team. The smells, the sounds, the language, the actions as a 13-year-old, to be exposed to that level of training or that level of expertise, always indebted to the people at Woodville West Torrens and the great people that I grew up with there. TLA, Craig Kelly, Sal Harris and Dan Richardson, who have supported me not only during my playing career but beyond that. And of course, everyone at the Fremantle Football Club. I had opportunities potentially to leave the club. Never really considered it too much on the basis that I had invested so much personally into making our club and our group as best as we could be. And I look back so fondly now to that last day in my last game where I was able to walk around the Oval with 40-odd thousand people cheering and spotting individual men and women both crying. Not that I necessarily knew how much I personally had grown up with the club, as along with the fact that the club had grown up alongside me. The fans, the members, the heart and soul of Fremantle will always be with me, and I thank them very much for all their efforts. Thank you very much. Have a great night.
Congratulations. Well done.